So this is the state of modern gaming. And I'm going to have to draw things out a little bit so that way I can start saying naughty words. Because YouTube doesn't like when you start saying words like that within like the first 30 seconds or so. So I'm going to have to stall things out. But please, by all means, look at this picture right here. It'll pretty much say what I'm talking about here. I feel like I just wrote a name down in the death note and now I'm having to wait 40 freaking seconds for it to happen. Yeah, you're reading that right. I mean, the players right now and 24-hour peak, that's one thing. But the fact that one game is a AAA game, took like what, 8 years to create, all-time peak, less than 700. A game where you have sex with Hitler, 2001. And here's the game itself. It looks like one of those typical like mobile games. And yeah, you just it's a hentai game where you do this and Hitler has sex with various girls in varying poses and positions. And yeah, and people would rather play this than Concord and Dustborn, or Dustbin rather, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Um, you know, the fact that this is where we are in gaming, that people would rather play this. Does it have VR support? Asking for a friend. I did not see that coming. No, these puns are infuriating. To be fair, you have played Sex with Hitler. Dustborn's protagonists aren't too dissimilar to Nazis. Let's be real. Same evil, different style. Yeah, Dustborn is basically Antifa training the game. You know, where they whine and, oh, trigger, and, oh, we're going to cancel you, and if you don't believe in what we believe, then you're an alt-right fascist, and blah, 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 and, you know, we're the peaceful and tolerant left, but you disagree with me, so I have no problem wanting to inflict violence upon you. You know, that shit. But this is the state of gaming right now, that people would rather play a game where you have sex with Hitler than a AAA game that took like 8 years to come out. People are just tired of the bullshit. People are just tired of, you know, trying to go to video games or comics or movies or whatever as an escape and then having all this political bullshit thrown right in their faces. You know, you're going through your day, whether it be school or work, and you're hearing people, you know, you go online or watch TV or something, and you see people whining about, ooh, evil Cheeto Man, constantly. And then you go into a game like Dustbin, and that whole game was created because of Orange Cheeto Man. All because, oh, his words hurt us, and we didn't like him, so we created this game because the world he created was very different than what we were used to, even though it was not different. It was the same, and it was better. But they created an entire game in the form of Dustborn because of Donald Trump. So if you're hearing people bitch and complain about Donald Trump in real life, why the fuck would you want to go into a game where they're doing the same thing? Why? Games are supposed to be an escape. If you want to stay in reality, then don't go into a fucking game. Then just stay in fucking reality. But people play games and read comics and watch movies and TV shows as an escape. People are tired of the forced diversity, equity, inclusion bullshit. Like I said in the last time, there's forced diversity and then there's like a natural diversity. If you have a game that takes place in San Francisco or New York or Austin or any of those very diverse areas, having diversity makes sense. But if you're gonna take a game and set it in like Europe, or just an extremely white country like China, and then like every two characters, every 2 out of 10 characters are black, that makes no sense. You don't take black people and put them somewhere where they weren't just like, oh well, we believe that the players should see themselves, but it makes no sense. If you're taking place in China, in ancient China, there's not going to be black people there. So why would you insert black people for the sake of diversity? It makes no sense. And people are just tired of it. People are just tired of it. And we're now at a stage in life where people would rather have sex with Hitler. I mean, how do we get to this point? How do we even get to this point? I mean, we know how we got to this point. And the thing is, again, it's like these companies don't learn. You hire activists, and this is what happens. This is what happens. You have Dustborn that no one wants to play. No one likes the game, except for the people who pretty much got paid to play it. But normal people are like, it's a terrible game. The concept of, words have power, and your powers are to bully people and cancel people. Yeah, the loving, tolerant left. Loving and tolerant until you say something they don't agree with, and then they want to take a bat and commit violence against you because they're miserable fucking twats. But people are just tired of activism invading hobbies and franchises and IPs, and that's why you look at places like China and Korea. Their games are doing just fine. They're doing just fine because they don't care about that crap. I mean, China hates everyone. They they hate their own people. They hate their own people. So you're not going to see any forced diversity crap from them. Korea, same thing. And with China, I think the last boycott for Hoyo, like, oh, the Genshin characters aren't dark enough. Did they budge on it? Nope, because they don't fucking care. They don't give a shit if you can't see yourself. They are more interested in creating a game that everyone can play, because they know that the areas they create and everything that goes into those areas are representative of wherever they got inspiration from. Like, I'm playing through Natlan. The music sounds amazing. I feel like, there's some places where you have a very much an African vibe. You go over to the shore, you have very much Hawaiian vibe. The people are dressed accordingly. The food there is, it feels very much like it's drawing inspiration from Africa, South America, and stuff like that. Just through the music and how people are dressed and the landscaping. The creatures that you find there, even though they're, like dinosaur type creatures, they're kind of inspired by animals that you would find in those areas. So Hoyoverse is not going to bend the knee and be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll make the characters darker so you can see yourself. You can see yourself. They don't care. Western companies care. And that's why if you're going to play games, start with like indie games. I mean, not Sex with Hitler, but indie games are usually the best until they get bought out by big AAA companies. If they get big enough, just stick with indie games. They usually, because indie games are smaller groups, and they can't afford to just waste their money on bullshit. They need to take the money that they have, create a product that makes them money, so that way they can continue on with more projects. This is the state of gaming. Rather fuck Hitler. Would rather fuck Hitler than play the current crap. And then, of course, you speak out against it, and these game companies come out and insult the player and like, oh, if you don't play this, you just hate women and you hate strong black people and you're a racist, homophobic, bigoted, whatever, every fucking phobe and ism they can think of because these people, despite the fact that they like to see themselves as college educated, are the dumbest motherfucking twats you can come across because it's just the same shit they spew repeatedly. Well, we don't have any real rebuttal or anything, so we're just gonna call you names. Oh, you disagree with us? You're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. Instead of just accepting that maybe these companies are producing subpar shit because they keep hiring activists who, at the activists, aren't there to make money. They are there solely to push an agenda. So if you have $200 million to make a game, they will waste $200 million just to push their fucking their agenda. So that's $200, $200 million being used in a game to push an agenda that's being catered to one certain side, to one small niche group of people. And then when the company doesn't make any money from it, the ones who are wasting the money are like, well, it's because people are just homophobic bigots and they hate women. No, you just spent 200 million making a game that only caters to a small group of people. Maybe that's why it lost money, you stupid fucking ass at. Seriously, these people need to learn to just take fucking responsibility and just accept that they're the problem. And the companies who allow it to happen, to allow these activists to come in and ruin what they're trying to do, you're complicit in it. You're the one hiring. You're the ones who see that they're doing it. And instead of saying, oh, hey, you know what? No, we're here to make money. We're not here to push an agenda. We're not here to tell people how to think. We're here to create a game that's fun. We're here to create a game that sells a lot of money, sells a lot of copies, and in turn makes us a lot of money, so we have money for our next project. Mad world. But yeah, and apparently there's two games. There's like Sex with Hitler and there's like Sex with Hitler 2. So apparently it was so good of a game it got a sequel. But I saw this, I thought it was hilarious because how bad does gaming have to be? In comic books and whatever. People wonder why manga is doing so much better than comics. Have you seen the comics that come out now? Like, what? Gee, you can't imagine why manga's kicking the shit out of Western comics. But nope, nope, it's the fans' fault. Not the people, not the activists in these areas pushing their forced agenda. No, no, it's the fans. We're all just a bunch of homophobic, racist, bigoted, alt-right Donald Trump supporters, and uh, we take bouncy balls away from small children and kick puppies, and we don't say goodbye to our grandmother, and we've never hugged our mother, and we steal candy from babies, and you know whatever other bullshit they want to say. But just don't give in to these people. If they accuse you of being a Nazi, as I've said before, just I'll fucking Hitler, bitch. Because these words have no meaning anymore. Homophobic, transphobic, any phobe is ism, far right extremist, alt right, Nazi. These words have they mean nothing. They mean nothing. These people think that, oh, you don't want to be called this. Go ahead. I really don't Well, what if we were to tell your parents? I don't care. I don't fucking care. If you want to call my parents and be like, your son is a homophobic bigot, it's like, okay, thanks for calling. So just don't give in to these people. And then when they see they don't have any fucking power, that the whole movement that they're doing will just slowly die down because they'll realize they're getting backlash and them calling people phobes and isms it's not working anymore. And they'll be like, well, we don't have any power here. You have no power here. Um, But what do we know? But what do we know? Anyway, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Hey guys.